get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. It breaks in my heart. It's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't want to face it. You think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighter, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighter, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. And throw our problems in the flames. Ooh, throw our problems in the flames. I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big.
Well, hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Tony's back. Say hi, Tony.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Don, that intro makes me want to go back to Asia.
You know what? I'm looking at that and saying, you know how many times, like, there's so many pictures of you and I in there, and look at all the amazing places we've gotten to travel to.
Man, we have been a lot of
years.
just in 7 years, and then of course we had the shutdown. So yeah, we've done a lot. Yeah, we've done a lot. Still a lot to do though.
Yeah. Well, we lots to do. Yeah, we talked a little bit. We just had our first members only channel, and that was really nice because got to talk to some people who were very everybody who had a question, you could get it in because we're going to do our best to keep up with the questions that's going to go on here. We do have the Blue Crew. We got Jim in the house. We got Angelina's in there. I think Mark and Paul are in there as well. Jenny's on board. And hi, Jenny. Can't wait to see you in December. And you know what? Are you coming in? Is Jenny coming in October?
I think so. Unless
Jenny,
the plan changes.
it's only 3 days, Jenny. You got to come see me. Come on.
I didn't realize Jenny was deputized in here. I guess she could kick me out if I act untoward.
You got to watch what you say.
That's right.
So, Larry, hi, Larry. We have a question. Sailing on the Regal Princess, October 6th. Production shows announced are Bravo, Fiera, Sweet Soul Music, and Born to Dance. What do you think? Born to Dance is a lot of fun. Bravo, Sweet Soul Music are their contemporary ones. They're on every ship that you go on. And Fiera is a kind of a new one that they toss in every once in a while. The shows are going to be great. A lot of it depends on the singers and dancers, how much you connect with them when you're watching them. Sometimes they blow you away, and sometimes they won't. but normally the shows are amazing. And I think you'll really like Born to Dance. That's one of my favorites on board Princess. Do you remember Born to Dance?
I don't know if I don't know if I remember Born to Dance. Bravo's the only one out of that list that I particularly remember, but I know I go to all the shows. So if Born to Dance has been on a ship that I've been on, I've probably seen it for sure.
Mel's got, what's this one? Tony, you did a post. Did you post a video early about the child? No.
I didn't. I haven't covered that story yet. I know Don covered it. I feel like maybe Doug Parker covered it. I don't know who else, but I haven't talked about it. It's so sad though. It's the worst. Yeah.
It like you don't think of that 12-year-old, and they were just playing around apparently, and we're not sure what happened. It just, I feel really bad for the first responders on the ships too. Having been a first responder in my company when I was growing, like in Frito-Lay, when I was working for them, I had to work on, luckily I never had that situation where it was a life-saving situation, because it just, seeing somebody injured affected me. I can only imagine working on a 12-year-old and not being able to resuscitate. Like, horrible story. Yeah.
Whew.
But yeah. Well, that starting off pretty heavy for the first. Here we go. Tony, question. Then I'll let you answer this one, Tony. How did we meet?
So I guess we go all the way back to 2017, 2018 is when it really kind of started happening. We both started our channels in 2017. And then I blind reached out to Don in February of 2018 because I was having some challenges with YouTube. They had changed their policies, and I was at risk of losing the little bit of progress I'd been making on YouTube. And I just kind of reached out to Don. I say, hey, you don't know me from anybody, but I need your help. And Don was super kind to me, and he didn't have any reason to be. And that kind of sparked the friendship virtually. And then a few months later, we met on the MSCC side, and it's been gangbusters ever since. We planned our Japan trip on that cruise, and we've just been doing stuff whenever we can since then. So it's we're very similar in what we do. My brother is in the house. I'm 53. My brother is 58, and you're 63. And so I always refer to you as like the third brother. Like if we had an older brother, I feel like that would be the right time frame. So I have that brother feeling with you. So it's kind of I mean, it just went like that. We have a lot of common interests, and we do a common thing. And so it's always good to talk to somebody about travel, and always good to talk to somebody about YouTube. And just Don's a good guy, so we have a good friendship. It's very nice.
Yeah. And just people say, well, Don, how big were you? No, I wasn't big.
No, we were both like, I think I had 600 subscribers and you had like 3,000 subscribers. And
so
the whole thing is I was just trying to get over the hump. I was like, who's somebody that would probably work with me? And went from there.
Yeah. And we travel now pretty much all over the world together. And it works out because Tony and I get along well. We have kind of the same mentality a lot of the times. Although people see us differently on our channel, and then we seem to be different when we meet each other. Like they think one's more outgoing than the other, and etc. kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm kind of the over the top on the videos, and I'm the shyest one of the two of us in person. So I'm the quiet of the two in person. So
we got a question from Oh My God Squad Gaming. Love that name. Love you. Thank you. Love you. Quick question. We have the ultimate dining package on the Icon of the Seas at the end of May. I was sorely disappointed with the Wonder of the Seas food. Should we expect the same? Every ship is different because they have all different chefs. So if you have a bad experience on one, doesn't mean you're going to have it on the other at all. My nephew Paul's in the house there on the Blue Crew. And Mark, we had the ultimate dining package on our cruise. I took them on, and they absolutely loved all the food we went to. So it can be hit and miss, but normally it's good, especially the specialty restaurants.
Just eat sushi every night. I love that ultimate dining package. I can't remember which ship I had it on, but it was like sushi for early dinner and then a regular specialty place. They probably regretted selling me the specialty dining package.
Yeah. Ooh. Cruise duck stuff going on. Don't forget, folks, if you have a question, please start the word your thing by saying question so I can spot it as easy because the chat's going by a mile a minute. Here we go. Question from John. Do you think they will ban Starlink Mini onboard ships? They may, because they want you to pay with theirs.
And I haven't looked at it in a long time. Is Starlink Mini a new offering out there, John? I know that they had kind of a Marine, which was kind of a big suitcase. And then I know that RVers have even a smaller kind of footprint. But I wonder if it'd be, I mean, you still need a dish, like a antenna. I can't imagine them allowing it on a cruise ship, but yeah, that'd be cool if you could bring your internet with you on the cruise ship. And you know, the Starlink works pretty well in those middle parallels, right? Like once you start to get to the top and bottom curvature of the Earth, not as good, but it'd be cool to be in the middle of the ocean, not have to pay the. What do you think about this Carnival thing? Like, have you followed along with that, Don? So they don't have multi-device on there. So if you go on a Carnival cruise ship, you just have one device that you can log in and log out. If you have two people in the cabin, obviously both people could buy a single device. But now they've opened it up to a 4-device package, and so it's all, you can only get 4 devices in the premium version. It's normally $23 a day, and now they have the 4-device package for $75. So you can either get 1 device for 23 or 4 devices for 75. You can't get 2 devices or 3 devices. It just seems expensive. I mean, $525 a week for internet.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Like if you don't have to, like for us, we need it for our job.
Yeah,
on board. But put it this way, I got the fastest on Princess on our 16-day. And it was $300 for 16 days.
Yeah, but you get this. But you got a perk there.
No,
too.
it was 150. I doubled it.
Okay,
I got 50% off. Yeah. So
yeah.
It was there. Oh, let's go travel tips. Allison and Gordon are in here. I see some people saying hi to them, so I want to say hi, guys.
Allison and Gordon, I think you were just on that. Were you guys on the Love Boat cruise?
They went to the Love Boat cruise. I had to cancel.
Yeah.
We went to Norway instead.
Yeah.
And then Clem asks this, is Don super kind? ? I like to think so.
I
like to try and think so.
I think most people that know you would say that.
So yeah, I will say that. Gordon, Allison, yeah, reach out. You guys got my number. We'll have to do a live stream one together. We talked about it before, and I know you, Tony and Jenny went on. I watched your live stream with them not too long ago, and yeah, we should get together and do something because I know you guys love Princess as well, and so we go there. Who has the most cruises? Tony's trying to catch up. He's trying to catch up.
I don't think I'll catch up. You started cruising a lot longer, way before I did, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But even since starting the channel, we're pretty close. You get those short cruises in there more than I can because I have to travel so far.
Yeah.
But my last one was 178? No, 6. 176, and now I'm on one that'll be 177. Then the one you and I are on together will be 178. I'll hit over 200 before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm not
even before the next year. I mean,
yeah, I think I'm in the 60s or something like that. I started back in 2017, and I really didn't start cruising a lot until 2019, and then we shut down. So I'm a little behind, but I still do a lot of cruises. I don't want it to seem right now. I'm in the cadence of trying to go one place a month. One cruise, one piece of travel a month. So I'm pretty good with that. 12 a year. It's not bad.
Somebody's asking me, how do I like living in the new place? I love the house. I really do. I just got my lawn. I've been here over a year and I finally got a lawn.
Oh, that's right. Did it die? That was.
It didn't die. No, they installed it when I left for 16 days and then we had a heat wave. And I was worried I was going to come back to nothing but a dead lawn when I come back. But it's still here. It's green. I got to cut it before I go. But, yeah, loving the house. Love the size. And love the toys that I put in it. So that's good. uh, as well. What are the steps for getting off a plane flying into Vancouver from the States, going through customs, getting luggage, etc.? Both are, appreciate that. Vancouver is actually pretty easy getting off the airplane. It's a very, I don't think I've ever been longer than 15 minutes in Vancouver at any point, flying either from the United States or just across Canada. And if you're going to the cruise port, you don't even have to rent a vehicle or anything. Just take the electric train system. It drops you off literally 1 block from the cruise port.
Oh, wow.
So hotels are super easy. I never rent a car in Vancouver to get to the cruise port anymore, or have a or do the bus transfer or anything, because the electric line is like $5 and boom, you're right there.
Here's a question I want to ask. So,
Sure.
as somebody in the U.S. who goes to Alaska, I've never considered even going out of Vancouver. It just makes more sense to me to not go through international travel and fly to Seattle. Is there a compelling reason for folks from the U.S. to go out of Vancouver?
Yeah, because that's where all the northbound, southbound crews are offered, for one thing, which means you're going to, if you're on a northbound cruise, it's only 7 days, it ends in Alaska. It's going to give you a lot more time in port.
Okay.
I've seen cruise ships pull in like 2 hours after we're in port and leave 6 hours before we leave. That's the difference sometimes of being, not having to make your way back.
Oh, that's nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have more stops in Alaska besides that, because you don't have to make a Canada stop.
It does seem like most of those Seattle trips are the round trips.
Yeah. And even when they stop in like Victoria, it's for 3 hours.
Right.
What are you going to do at 11 o'clock at night for 3 hours sometimes?
Yeah.
Any insight on the changes on the Caribbean Princess after dry dock? I think most of it is going to be the new dining venues, for one thing, that they're going to introduce. But the refresh, it needs a refresh, like in some of the areas. It's still a fun ship. I like the design of the ship. I really hope they do something with the buffet, maybe expand the buffet somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that was my only real drawback for me was, the buffet is so small as far as your choices when you're used to the royal class ships, or even going on a celebrity ship or anything like that. What do you think, Tony?
I do have some breaking news about the Caribbean Princess,
Oh.
and I was gonna maybe report it on my show, but I've been banned from the Caribbean Princess. Now I'm the person that banned me from it, but yeah, I don't know. Like, that ship does need some love. It was my first princess ship. I liked it, but yeah, I mean, I think your point's very valid. The buffet is a little small. It's a good time, but I have no idea why I've been on that ship so many times. So it's dead to me, honestly. Caribbean Princess dead to me. A great ship. Everybody go sailor, but I've self-banned myself from the Caribbean Princess.
The trouble is, it's a smaller ship. Well, it's still fair size, but it's a smaller ship and it's narrow. It can get into a lot of the places that the bigger ships can't, and so it's itinerary based a lot of the time, and that's why we end up on it a lot. Well, Canada, hey, here we go. It's on the Caribbean Princess. Oh, Norway, Iceland, it's on the Caribbean Princess. It just happens that's the ship that fits, right?
Yeah.
So, where's the best place to find info on my group cruises? It's under every video, and the email is there. If you send us an email, we'll about any group cruise, we'll let you know, and I'll always announce it there below every single time. Whenever anything is done, I'll also put a video out, and I'm going to create an area just on the YouTube channel for upcoming group cruises. If anyone wants to find some information, I just have to find some time to put the videos out and log it in. But that's where we're going to go for sure. It'll always be underneath until it's sold out, and then it'll disappear. Nothing's disappeared yet, but we're pretty close. I'll tell you, some of the cruises we've been selling lately, because the ships are full, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast 2025 is selling out. It's like, wow. Have either of us been on the Sapphire Princess? I am booked in October. Have you been on the Sapphire?
I have not been on the Sapphire.
No. Sapphire is obviously an older ship. It's before the Royal class, so that's been quite a while, about 9 years since they came out. But it's still a nice ship. It just had a dry dock not too long ago, so it's still doing pretty well. The one thing to remember, because it's a smaller ship, the piazza is smaller, your buffet's smaller, but everything else will feel like home. And that's the main thing. That's the one thing that people say about Princess is the staff is always wonderful, and the ship, because every ship almost, other than the Sun now and the Star when it comes out, feels like the same ship, almost the same design, right? The Piazza's there, the World Fresh Marketplace is there. Everything's in the same locations, maybe a little different, a little tweak here and there, but it still feels like the same ship, and you can usually find your way around like instantly.
I think that's, of course, I haven't been on the Sun yet, but I tell you, when they brought the Sky and that whole class that the Sky's in, making the atrium bigger was such a win. Like, just being able to sit around that atrium, because I was thinking about that when we were on the Caribbean. It's like there's like 8 seats there. It's like there's not a lot of room. I'm exaggerating, probably 20 places to sit on the Caribbean Princess, but on the the Sky, a lot of great seating there.
Yeah. Question: do we feel that the pandemic really kicked off our subscriber base? Yes and no. For me, yes, we grew during the pandemic because we switched over to covering news when there wasn't a lot of news happening for the cruise industry at the time. But we grew I grew a ton of crew members, like literally a ton of crew members, but now they're working. So now they're not watching anymore because they're back to work. So it's been but yeah, it didn't like change everything, but we were able to continue our growth during that time when a lot of people weren't, which is very lucky. I'm very thankful for that. How about you, Tony?
Well, I just pulled up my chart over here to try to see if I'm curious now as to what my sub count was going into the pandemic. Certainly we got a lot of people watching because, like you said, when the pandemic started, there wasn't really like the cruise news show that we see today. You can go back before the pandemic and we would do single topic news stories for the most part. So I just remember like 2017, 2018, I'm like, oh, the NCL Sun is, the cruise news. They're working on the ship while it's going to dry dock. It would just be a single topic. And so I think what we saw in the whole space was this change to a multi-story cruise news video. And we got a lot of, we were processing through what the CDC would say. And I think we grew quite a bit then. I think we grew quicker then than we certainly are now, as things have, more people out there, more options. And but yeah, I think a lot of people came to us that way, and thankful, because it was so weird when we first started going back on ships. I just didn't realize how many people were watching the show, from the passengers to the crew members to the officers on the cruise ships. It was really overwhelming, the amount of people that were watching the show. So it was overwhelming in a special way. So it was cool. But yeah, I think the pandemic actually was beneficial for our channels. So yeah, sometimes it's funny when things are not, when good things come out of bad things. I feel very fortunate that way.
Yeah, I'm extreme, especially myself being I had just started my career as a travel agent.
Yeah.
And then everything shut down.
And
we made no money at all. In fact, I owed money because I still had fees to pay and things like that. But one of the biggest, I remember to this day, and it's the biggest compliment I remember getting. I was going on a celebrity cruise ship, and I was sitting in the front row like I normally do. And Captain Kate came down to watch the show, and she was sitting beside me. And all of a sudden, a gentleman came over. He's a nice, tall, very good-looking gentleman, suit and everything, comes up, just says, "I just wanted to say, during the pandemic, I got, you kept me informed, and I really appreciate that. And I got more information from you than I even got from my own company, and I really appreciate it." I said, "Well, thank you very much." And he walked away, and Captain Kate looks over to me, and he says, "You know who that was?" I said, I have no idea. And she says, "It was the VP of European operations for the cruise line." So that was like the biggest thing, like oh wow moment that I remember from the pandemic from that stuff. So yeah, kind of crazy. Here's one for you, Tony. What cruise ship was your first cruise ship? Do you remember the year?
Yeah, for sure. We started cruising in April of 2017. Our very first cruise was on a cruise that was built in the 1900s. At the same time, like this cruise ship, there was barely internet when this cruise ship was built. We were on the Carnival Fantasy, and reminiscent of what's going on in the Carnival Vista right now, we got on that cruise. We drove all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina to Mobile, Alabama, so that we could motivate my brother to go on that cruise with us. We picked him up there in Birmingham, and we went to Mobile. We got on the cruise ship. It was only a 4-day cruise with one stop to Cozumel, and we embarked on that cruise ship. And about 8 o'clock at night, we were like, "How does this work? Like, shouldn't we be gone by now?" And it's like, "Yeah, it seems like we should." And then this announcement comes on that says, "Hey, the engines are broken. We can't get down to Cozumel. You can get off the cruise ship now for a full refund, or you can stay on board and we'll give you 100% future cruise credit and $100 onboard credit, and we'll cruise to nowhere," which I didn't even know what that meant. And so I guess we got some sort of exemption to cruise to nowhere. And the very next day, though, the ship picked up speed. They fixed whatever they needed to fix, and we ended up going to Key West. And so our very first cruise was really, I guess, what could be considered a bad cruise experience, and it completely hooked Jenny and I on cruising. So it's strange how it works out. But that was my very first cruise ship. How's it different than today? There's a lot of differences between then and now because of the pandemic. I feel like there's been a little bit of a cutback in services, quality of things. Like, I can't remember what cruise line I was on, but you could even tell that like the toilet paper had changed. And so it was just a weird thing because these companies went into billions of dollars of debt. And when you're faced with climbing out of that debt, everything gets looked at as how can we save money. And we saw, when I first started, there were 2 times a day, room cleaning with a turn down service, and free room service on almost every line. This is back just 2017. You could no limitations on the amount of things you could ask for in the main dining room. That used to, like all the cruise videos I watched when we were first learning about cruising, everybody was touting the get everything you want, is try what you want and don't worry about it and all that stuff. So a lot of stuff has changed. But the thing is, cruising's growing and exploding like no other time. This is one of the biggest growth periods in cruising. And so all those things that are changed for a new cruiser, it's the status quo. So they have no memory of it, which works to the advantage of the cruise company. But yeah, what was your very first cruise ship and when was that?
Oof. I think it was 78.
Wow.
And it was the MS Pacific cruise ship, or better known as the Love Boat.
Oh, wow.
Cruise ship. And how different was it? Well, you can fit that ship in most suites on the cruise ship nowadays.
Small.
That's probably the best way to say it. They were tiny. They didn't have stabilizers. They had all you can eat midnight buffets though back then and things like that. But let me just tell you, what you saw on the Love Boat show was totally different than the ship itself, because they filmed it on studio, and like the cabins were like studio cabins,
Apartment size. Yeah.
Let me just put it that way. They were nowhere near as big, but yeah, that was it. But really didn't start cruising really a ton until the 2000s, and that's when I could afford my own cruising and paying for it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Which is worse right now, Disney or the cruise price inflation? Well, you just talked about cruising. Well, Disney's price inflation has been the same. It goes up all the time, and it's always been expensive. The trouble is, you can probably find cheap cruises, but Disney's one price, right? One way, or like you can choose different hotels and cut back that way and cut back on how much money you spend there. But to get in, you're going to pay the same amount of money. And they're expensive. I've done it twice now in the last year and a half, and it was expensive. I'll stick to cruising every time that I can. It's still fun. I complain about the prices of Disney all the time. I complain that they don't have enough new rides in they just announced new stuff they're bringing, but for the longest time, everything was being built somewhere else. But it's still fun. I have a great time when I'm there. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's not worth the money, because fun is fun, and it depends on each person's thing. But I always have fun on cruising, so we'll go with that. You're not really a Disney guy, are you?
I haven't been to. So the last time I went to any Disney park was because you forced me to. That was when we went to Shanghai Disney. Before that, I haven't been to the Magic Kingdom since 1983. So I was 12 years old. So apparently it's changed a lot. And then of course, you've got all these parks. I really loved Epcot as a kid. I feel like I should go back over to Epcot. The things that drew me there would probably draw me back there, but I haven't, and I only live probably less than 2 hours to get over to the park.
Yeah.
I would like to go back. I mean, back when I was a kid, like Hall of Presidents was my favorite thing. I'd love to go back and see the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah. Compared to the last time you were there, you would probably be amazed at some of the stuff that's there now.
Oh yeah.
That they have. So yeah. Trying to go down here. Oh, I'm falling behind here. Bam. What's the farthest you would consider driving to port the day of the cruise? Is 4 hours okay?
So my brother and I were at the gym this morning having this conversation because they are going to Fort Lauderdale for a celebrity cruise, I think within the next couple of weeks. And Lauderdale's about 4 hours from here, 4.5. Miami's about 5. Port Canaveral, I go over the day of. It's 2 hours. I got no problem. Port of Tampa, 45 minutes. Even Jacksonville's only 3 hours from here. I think most of the time we go over the night before for that 4-hour trip to Lauderdale, just because I don't want to have to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning and drive and then go through embarkation day. Because a lot of times embarkation day is still the most stressful day of the cruise. Trying to get on the ship, trying to get unpacked. Fortunately, muster's not that bad of a deal anymore. But, waiting around, it can be pretty stressful. If you can find a reasonable rate, like I guess that depends on the price of the hotels too. So if I have to go over the night before and pay $500 or $600 to stay at a hotel, then I'm going to risk it for the biscuit and probably drive the 4 hours. But like when I go to Lauderdale, you can stay on the marina side or you can stay on the Dania Beach side. A lot of times you can get a room on the Dania Beach side for $150 or less. I almost would rather have the not hassle of I like waking up and enjoying my cruise day. And so I think I'm driving for that 4 hours, but it just depends on some factors like that. What's the longest you would drive on a cruise day, do you think?
Oh,
I mean, for you got to fly most of the time anyway, so you don't really ever have to face that issue.
No, unless I'm leaving from Quebec City, then, I could probably do it in 5 hours. Well, here's an example. I have my flight to Singapore that I'm doing after I get off the Sun Princess is leaving from Montreal. Montreal is only 2 hours away from my place. I'm leaving the day before, even on a 2-hour trip. What happens if you have a breakdown, a flat tire? Anything can happen. It's, I don't know if your cruise is only $600, $700, okay. But if you're spending thousands, then the price of a hotel is probably worth it. And you know what? You start your vacation off more relaxed.
Yeah.
Look at the family that just had a 3-hour flight to New York, but boy, they cut it close.
Now if I'm flying, I'm going the day before. There's too much uncertainty. Now, fortunately, knock on whatever you knock on, for every bad travel experience that you've had on an airplane, Don, I've had a fine one. Like I don't know the last time I've had a troubled flight.
Well, all mine are flying home.
Yeah.
It's never to the cruise.
Yeah, so it's like, I did have trouble last year where my flight to London didn't go. And fortunately, I had baked an extra day in there. So when it comes to flying, I'm always putting extra time in there. But yeah.
Yeah. Question, do you think you will do a 2026 group cruise together, perhaps in Europe? Well, funny you should mention that. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah,
so go with this one.
Well, most of the time, we just end up on each other's group cruises, and we're pretty open about it. Like I'm going to be on Don's group cruise. Jenny and I are going to be on Don's group cruise in December. And then little birdie, Don, told me that he actually booked our group cruise in 2026 out of Philadelphia. That's happening in April. We're having a live stream tomorrow. There's going to be an update on that group cruise. So please come over and see Jenny B and I tomorrow. I don't want to throw links down in Don's live stream, but we're going to be the spoiler is we're going to be reopening that. We've processed through the first batch of people, and we don't really have any more like cabins that were part of the original cabins, but we got more cabins. So come over to the live stream tomorrow. We'll be cruising out of Philadelphia to Bermuda and South Carolina in April of 2026, and Don's going to be on it. So I don't know how much of a duel that is, but a lot of times when we're together, we'll go to Don's functions, he'll come to our functions, that kind of thing. So the nice thing about it not being a dual thing is, if you're just tagging along, you don't have to feel super committed. So it's a nice way to do it, just to show up. So I'll be on Don's. Jenny and I will be there in December. Don will be with us in 2026, and then if Don can secure this like Christmas river cruise, Christmas Village, Christmas market, whatever they're called, we're very tempted to go on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It's on Norwegian, so I don't get a chance to sail on Norwegian too often, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. But there was something. Jenny, if you have the link to tomorrow's live stream, go ahead, put it up. Show people.
Well, I got the link to that cruise, but I don't think it's open yet. The live stream's not set up yet, but yeah.
But you know where his channel is, folks. Just go check it out. I am normally there, but not on Thursdays, because Thursdays is movie night.
It's
movie night. I always go to the early movie night theater.
Is there something new this week? What's the new movie this week?
It's is it See No Evil? Hear No Say No Evil.
Oh, sounds scary.
It is. It's kind of a family meets another family on vacation. They're invited to their house. They're rich, and the family's a little crazy. Okay. Looking forward to that one. So here's this question again. The Air Canada pilots going on strike, supposed to fly out September 26th. Yeah, and I fly even before them. And they've been legally allowed to strike for 2 weeks now. So I have multiple flights booked over the next month with Air Canada. So I'm fingers crossed that they don't go on strike, but it's one of those things, right? You have to play it by ear. That's what travel insurance is for, folks. And I'd be grabbing mine right now if you have Air Canada's coming up soon. Let's just hope they get it solved beforehand. Going on NCL for the first time on Sunday on the Encore. Very nice ship. One of my first NCL cruises when I started the channel. Can I expect anything different from them? I've got 30 cruises with Royal, Carnival, and MSC. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think NCL has some different things to offer, especially the Encore. The one nice feature on that ship is the observation deck. I know they may have taken some of it and made cabins, but there still should be an observation deck. But one thing that's unique to NCL that none of those other cruise lines have is either, I think it's called Oceans or the Local on the Encore. And so it's just their included food. So that's going to be different for you. And the production shows are good. So you're going to have some familiar experiences as the other kind of major market cruise lines, but there's going to be some interesting different flavors there. And the Local is definitely one thing to check out.
Yeah, and their entertainment on board is usually pretty, top notch. I wish they had more Broadway shows. Yeah, they got rid of some of them, but the ones that are there are still really good. So nothing to knock them on that. And yeah, the only thing a little different there is where they in the Encore, their Piazza area, what's so-called Piazza area, is they have their customer service right beside where they have like the live show, like the screen and everything, where they'll host trivia and all that. It's like a weird location for it.
Yeah.
But the ship itself is still fun, and that I had a good time when I was on the Encore. Have we ever been on the Equinox? Haven't been on the Equinox myself. I've been on lots of Celebrity, but not the Equinox.
That was our first Celebrity ship. And that was back when we were making a video of a day on the ship. So we've got video there of most of the common areas, the glass blowing studio. We liked it. It really, we weren't sure. We'd gone on Princess previously, and we'd gone on Carnival and Royal at that point. And that was our first celebrity, and it really kind of turned us on to celebrity. We haven't done a lot of celebrity lately, but Equinox has a sweet spot for us.
Yeah. Oh, what's this one? What's your next cruise together? Sun Princess, the 11th of next month, October 11th, the day after my birthday. So, Tony, maybe I can convince you guys to come down to Fort Lauderdale a day early. We'll celebrate my birthday in Fort Lauderdale.
Is your birthday on the 10th?
On October 10th.
We'll be there.
That's a celebration, though,
yeah,
right?
We'll be there that night. Yeah.
Have they told you who the singer is?
No, I haven't seen.
They've been teasing this, folks. They've been saying you can't miss this performance. You can't miss it. I'm saying, okay, well, maybe, I don't know. Is Taylor Swift going to pop in and surprise us? Who knows? Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? And of course, Allison and Gord. Hi, guys. Thanks so much. We'll get with you soon. Absolutely. Yeah, you have me. I'm on your WhatsApp. You know how to reach me. Feel free to reach out anytime. Any ideas what cruise lines you are looking at for the river cruise? Yeah, right now it was Amma Waterways and Viking because they had the most stops with the Christmas markets. And if I'm going to go there for the Christmas markets, I want as many Christmas market stops as possible. And I think it's just going to be a 7-day, but we can do 2 nights before, 3 nights after. If you want to stay in Switzerland, if you want to stay in Amsterdam, make it into a little longer trip. So that's the idea. And I had to move it a little bit because November, 2/3 of the Christmas markets aren't open yet. So they opened the 1st of December.
That's what I was curious about. What's the season for the Christmas market?
Yeah.
December.
So I had to switch that around a little bit for that kind of stuff. Why do the cruise lines don't honor prices that are due to technical glitches? I found a penthouse suite on the Regal Princess with my Caribbean cruise for January for the price, and they said no. That goes with every company, even Disney. If you they have a glitch every once in a while on their website, and it says right there that if there is a technical issue and a glitch, they will refund the money and you would have to rebook it. That's every cruise line, hotels, etc. Very rare will anybody accept it. The odd time, I've seen some airlines accept it, but very, very rare when that happens. Have you ever seen that happen, Tony?
Not really. I mean, I think, it's just, it's an imperfect world, right? Things don't always work correctly. And I've seen and then of course it's easy I think I saw a Carnival one time. They had the drink package that was mispriced in a really drastic way, and word got around and everybody booked it and they had to go and refund, that kind of thing, because it's, again, like they're not claiming perfection. And I think there's a lot of disclaimers that say that, to your point that it, I would be surprised, but sometimes it happens. I mean, but it's not like the old days where you're in a supermarket and somebody has put the wrong price on something and you're going to get it for that price. When it scales up to where thousands of people could get this incorrect price, there's no way they can do it, I don't think. Yeah.
And guaranteed somewhere in your cruise contract, there's a thing in there saying that, because nowadays, and I just got a brand new phone right here because my other phone was acting up. So I got the brand new phone and it was like 500 pages I had to scroll through to say accept at the end. I have no idea
what you signed up for.
I could have just signed away my house. Who knows? That no one reads those anymore, but yeah. It's funny what they put in. Well, look at Disney. Remember the lawsuit that was just trying to happen where something happened in a Disney restaurant and somebody passed away because of an allergy. And they were trying to say they couldn't be sued because you signed a waiver when you signed up for a month-long subscription with Disney Plus saying that you will no longer sue Disney or any of its subsidiary companies.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That definitely will get challenged, I think.
Yeah, they allowed it to go through anyway. But I mean, that's crazy stuff that you could just read the fine print. Good luck with that. Sun Princess will the Sun Princess go into dry dock to replace the failed Park 19? I'm on her next August, so a little concerned about. Sun Princess won't be going into that. In fact, they're doing a lot of changes on the Sun Princess next month. Sorry, this month. We're already September. They're changing around a lot of the dining venues. They're switching around the signature restaurant to be something else. They're moving some of where the specialty restaurants were. They're moving them to different locations, and it's all going to happen when I'm on the cruise. So that'll be interesting to see what I'm actually able to book when I'm on the cruise ship. But no, Park 19, because it's above, and they're going to work on it. They'll just close off that part of the deck and they'll work on it when they can. And I don't think they've even know what they're doing there yet. I do know that they've kind of said, you know what? We kind of need to be true to our core audience, which is a more mature audience, right? It's not necessarily for 10 and 15-year-olds and 5-year-olds. That's not the first cruise line you think of when you think Princess, right? So I think they may start looking at doing like a dining area up or just a new relaxation area, like a private adult only area up there. It's a beautiful area right at the top of the deck, lots of space. There's already hammocks and everything up there. So it's just a matter of taking that little roller coaster thing out. And it's too bad it didn't work in a way, but I can't even discuss why it doesn't work and what they're doing about it. Let's just put it this way. They're not happy. Princess isn't happy. So we'll leave it at that. And someday I'll be able to tell you the whole story, but I promised I wouldn't. So question. If I give you Guy my wife's number, will you call her so I can go with you from Kentucky here? I don't know. Do you want us calling your wife? I can get in a lot of trouble doing that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm only allowed to call my wife, so that's
yeah. But if it's part of the work, I guess I got to do it. Have you two ever thought about doing a group cruise? I don't know. Well, you did the vlogger cruise.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people, and that was successful. A lot of people showed up. I joined you and everything. I didn't sell anything on it. I just joined.
Yeah.
We may at some point, but it would have to be a special thing we want to do together. I think it would have to be a
kind of the way we do it now is like a good way to do it, because one of us ends up being in charge of stuff and the other person gets to just relax and show up and help out. So
it's sometimes nice to go, like if I go on Tony's group cruise or he comes on mine, we're not obligated to be at every event. We're not obligated to have to dine with everybody every time. And Tony has his channel he's got to run. I have my channel I got to run. We got to work sometimes. And when we're on the group cruise, I spend as much time as possible with people. But you still got to do the job out there. And sometimes final payments are due for customers. There's work to be done. It's never ending, folks. It never ends. Curious, is there such a thing as a closed loop cruise around Eastern Canada? No, that's a United States thing. But we don't even have that law in Canada that a cruise ship has to go to a foreign country. But one thing I was really surprised, is I found out even if you're stopping in Canada to Alaska, you can still go with your birth certificate and driver's license. You didn't need a passport. I was shocked by that, actually.
That is wild, yeah.
Because I've always figured you would need a passport and that, but I guess not. Somebody's here. My son, folks, this is Steven, mentioning something. Also, his son's car parked there for 3 months. Yeah, my son called. Yeah, Dad, I need a new car. I'm getting a new car. I'm going to donate my car to charity. Can I park it in your driveway for a week? 3 months later, it finally gets removed out of my laneway. but it's gone. It actually went about 3 days after my lawn got installed, so it's kind of all together at once. Question: we are going on the Celebrity Eclipse next month. Have either of you been on this ship? What's your overall view of Celebrity Cruise Line? I'll start up with that one. I've been on the Eclipse. It's been quite a while. It's been 9 years, so yeah. But as a brand, Celebrity, I do enjoy Celebrity. It's a premium cruise line. I especially like the Edge class ships. It's just a design that I do like, but I do think that the staff is quite nice. They're very comparable to Princess. The only thing that I wish they never did was in the all-inclusive package they had, they took the gratuities out of it. So I'm not sure why, but now it's a drink package basically they're selling you and not an all-inclusive package. But as far as the brand is concerned, the retreat and all that area are usually just top-notch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for a Celebrity perspective, I like it because it's got a modern aesthetic, right? Like all the ship hardware really trends more toward the modern, where other cruise lines may have a more classical type feel. The food's good, and there's usually good venues for entertainment. And I'm not much of a drinker, but it does seem like they have a good liquor culture there, like nice bars and people enjoying drinks. So it's Celebrity's nice. It definitely is kind of that next level up from I would say like a Carnival, Royal, Norwegian. And so if you're at that next tier, if you're to me, if you're at that next tier, you're thinking about Holland, Princess, Celebrity, and each one of those have a different vibe. And to me, I feel like Celebrity, I always say that Princess is like classical music and Celebrity is a little bit like jazz. And I would now that I've been on Holland, I could say Holland's a little rock and roll. So yeah, so if you're a jazzy modern kind of person, I would go Celebrity.
I'm the same. Now, where would you put Virgin? Would Virgin be with Royal, or would you put them up with the
No, Virgin's in that same tier, and they're an outlier. I mean, to me, it's like it's adults only, and I think it's its own category. Actually, I love the fact that it's all inclusive, and even like your gratuities. It's a non-tipping type cruise line. It just doesn't have the reach right now as those other three lines when it comes to fleet size and itineraries. But I think it's some of the best food on the high seas. I mean, there's no main dining room. They have a buffet concept, which is different, but the food is all specialty dining qualities. To me, it's an outlier. It's something different altogether, but something I feel like cruisers should try.
So it's the adult outlier where Disney would be the family outlier.
I would say so. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a thing unto itself.
I didn't know this. Pair DJ live, and it was mentioned that we're going on the Sun Princess TA with them are they on the September 23rd Sun Princess?
I guess so. I'm not going on it. I tried. I looked at it, but then it would put me on there for so long, and so I'm not. But Dawn will be there. I'm
definitely on there.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, at least as long as everything goes.
J&D are fun to cruise with, so I
know. No airline strike, et cetera. But yeah. I look forward to meeting them again.
Yeah,
and they make me feel very tiny.
They're very
whenever
tall.
I cruise with them.
They're very tall.
How are both our health wise? My latest checkup was all clear. I'm feeling really good. I keep gaining weight on my cruises and having to lose it when I come back, so that's upsetting to me. But other than that, I feel very healthy. I got around pretty good in Norway, and that I was climbing those rocks. I was doing pretty well. So I'm very happy when I'm turning 62 next month. So going strong. How about yourself?
For some reason, I thought you were 63. So 62 this year. Apologies for that age. I'm doing pretty good. So of course, my big concern was my thyroid. So I had my thyroid taken out on February the 23rd. I don't know how many days ago that was. And I went through a whole process. You have to figure out how to regulate your thyroid medicine because I have no thyroid now and I have to take a pill. So overall, pretty good. I've been trying, the one thing that I have to do the most is walk. And so fairly frequently going to the gym. My brother and I are hitting the gym, and I felt I was really able to get around really well in Greenland and Iceland, and so pretty good, man. All those hills that we climbed in the Greenland, those little towns up on top of those mountains. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel pretty good as usual. I could always lose some weight, but it's turned out to be an interesting challenge with the thyroid. It doesn't seem like anything that I'm doing makes me lose weight. So, been exercising a lot, been changing the amount of food that I eat, and I'm hanging around the same weight. So that's been interesting.
Where did I see that one there? You would know more about this because it's been a while since I've been on Carnival. Can you make and receive phone calls on Carnival ships sailing on the Glory in 16 days? You can make internet calls.
Well, they don't actually have wireless calling. What am I trying to call? I can't remember what it's called. They block like standard wireless calls, but you can kind of get around that using WhatsApp. WhatsApp will kind of let you make a voice call. But most of the time on Carnival, when we're thinking about voice calls, we're waiting until we get to a port where we can use the cellular system, the mobile system. But yeah, Wi-Fi calling, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think they block Wi-Fi calling on Carnival, which is weird, but I think it works with WhatsApp. So you got to use a different app.
And I think we already answered this question. Is Tony considering the Christmas markets if we do a group? He is.
Yep.
So I think Christmas markets, and if you're going to do a river cruise, that would be a good one to choose. So maybe I'll be able to convince him for sure, him and Jenny, to come down for that one. And finally, let's go with this one. Any advice for a new person sailing on Virgin Cruise Line?
I don't remember any big gotchas. I only went on the one Virgin cruise. I feel like you have to reserve those specialty dining, like everything's a restaurant. So I think when you get on the ship, you want to reserve your dinners so that you can go to all the different restaurants. And the entertainment's a little kooky on there. The first show that I went to, you had to stand up the whole time. So, I say it is very different. Just go in with an open mind. There are some pretty adult themed stuff on those cruise ships, but it's all behind closed doors. Racy shows, like it's not like crazy, but just be mindful that the show that you may be going to, it's a very adult oriented cruise ship, and so keep all that in mind. But I think the big thing from a pragmatic tactical thing is just make sure you get your restaurants reserved when you get on board.
Yeah, and it is a very different cruise line than traditional. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. As well. Even the shows are completely different, right? The theater is like a theater in a round, but it's oval sort of thing.
Well, it's interesting. The theater reminds me like of a high school gymnasium. They can roll the risers out and make it a half stage. They can take the risers completely away, and it's a big open area. And then, there's one show where there's risers on both sides, and it's just a strip in the middle where they do the show.
Yeah, and I don't think they're like a cohesive storyline or anything. It's more like just a bunch of stuff happening and entertaining, right?
They had a couple good shows that had a story from the beginning to the end. Like there was a Romeo and Juliet type deal, but and they had a production show with song and dance. So it's but then they also had that one dance party that made no sense. So a little bit of everything.
They're still learning, right? They're still learning. There we go. And I think this one's going to be our final question of the night. Will Don be joining us on the group cruise? In case you missed it, I have booked the group cruise. I do have a question on you on that, though. Is Walter coming?
Yeah. Walter will be on that group cruise. Yeah.
I haven't met Walter yet, so I've watched a ton of his videos. So it'll be it's called Walter's World, folks, out there. If you want to check out Walter, and he does those. How does he word it? Don'ts. The don'ts of this and the don'ts of that.
Different Walter.
Oh, different Walter.
You're thinking of Walter's World. Now this is Where's Walter's Travel. Different guy.
I'm still looking forward to meeting Walter.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking Walter's World. Every time we talk Walter in YouTube, that's who because I always watched his videos, right? When I was learning the business and everything.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, everybody, Tony, any
final
words out there?
Oh, final words. Man, I hope everybody has a cruise booked, and gosh, we're 7 years into this, which is kind of mind blowing, and it's still the most exciting, fun travel that I know of. So there's nothing better than that cruise life. I'm glad I certainly get to share it with people that I love and care about, like my beautiful wife and my brother from another mother, Don. So Don, thank you for having me out tonight, and appreciate everybody showing up here, and make sure y'all got a cruise book. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming in, Tony. Enjoy Italy. Looking forward. I know what he's doing, but we're not going to tell you. You're going to have to tune into his channel to check it out.
Flying to Italy on Sunday, guys.
There you go. And the week after that, on the Sunday, I fly to the Sun Princess, and I'm going to be the biggest expert on the Sun Princess by the time this year ends, because I'll have been on it almost a full month.
That's right.
So we'll see you all then. And until next time, everybody, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. And don't forget, keep on cruising. I'm only allowed to do that when Tony's on the channel.
That's right. We'll see y'all
later. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.